Welcome to Eye on the Tigers News. I'm Jacob Frazier.
And I'm Kennedy Lamb. Thanks for joining us today for the news we've been following for you. In a remarkable turnaround, Senate Republicans have agreed to debate a House bill that would overhaul the national security agencies' handling of Americans calling records while preserving other domestic surveillance provisions. But that move didn't happen soon enough to prevent expiration of legal authority for the programs from expiring at midnight Sunday, as Republican Senator Rand Paul, a presidential contender, stood in the way of extending the program, angering his GOP colleagues and frustrating intelligence and law enforcement officials.
Now the question is whether the Senate will pass a bill the House can live with. If so, surveillance programs will resume, with some significant changes in how the phone records are handled. If not, they will remain dormant. The Senate vote on the measure known as the USA Freedom Act can come no earlier than 1 a.m. Tuesday. Senate Republican aides have said they expected some amendments, but no major revisions to the bill. The high-stakes drama played out as Congress debated the most significant changes prompted by the disclosures of Edward Snowden, the former NSA contractor, who revealed the phone records collection and other main surveillance programs. With no deal reached in time, the NSA stopped collecting American phone records at 3:59 p.m. Sunday, officials said.
Nebraska Republican Governor Pete Ricketts says lawmakers' repeal of the death penalty won't stop his administration from proceeding with the executions of 10 people already sentenced to death. Ricketts said Friday that he doesn't plan to cancel a shipment of lethal injection drugs that the state bought earlier this month. The GOP-controlled legislature this week approved a law repealing the death penalty over the governor's veto. The law doesn't go into effect for 3 months. The Office of Attorney General Doug Patterson said Thursday that it plans to challenge part of the law that effectively changed the sentence of Nebraska's 10 current death row prisoners to life in prison. Attorneys plan to argue that the law violates the state constitution, which gives the Board of Pardons exclusive power to change final sentences.
Texas lawmakers on Friday approved carrying handguns openly on the streets of the nation's second most populous state, sending the bill to Republican Governor Greg Abbott, who immediately promised to sign it and reverse a ban dating to the post-Civil War era. Gun owners would still have to get a license to carry a handgun in a visible holster. The state, known for its Wild West cowboy history and some of the nation's most relaxed gun laws, has allowed concealed handguns for 20 years. Concealed handgun license holders are even allowed to skip the metal detectors at state capitol, as state troopers providing security assume they're armed.
A recycling center in the Silicon Valley found the woman who dropped off an old Apple computer that turned out to be a collectible item worth $200,000. The computer was inside boxes of electronics that she had cleaned out from her garage after her husband died. She didn't want a tax receipt or to leave her information, and it wasn't until a few weeks later that workers opened the box to discover an Apple I computer inside. The San Jose Mercury News reports it was one of only 200 first-generation desktop computers assembled by Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ron Wayne in 1976. The center sold the computer and split the $200,000 profit with the woman.
A 13-year-old Ohio boy accused of stealing $25,000 from his 83-year-old grandfather and handing out $100 bills to his middle school classmates has been charged as a juvenile. The Medina Gazette reports the boy was charged with delinquency by the way of theft from the elderly. Authorities say the boy gave away thousands of dollars last month before school officials discovered what was happening. Investigators recovered some of the money, and some had already been spent.
A Nevada man who was accused of murder after confronting 2 unarmed trespassers with a deadly barrage of gunfire at a vacant duplex he owns was found not guilty Friday of all charges in the latest case to test the boundaries of stand-your-ground self-defense laws. Wayne Bergarello, 74, a retired Sparks school teacher, insisted he was acting in self-defense in February 2014 when he shot and killed one man and wounded another. A jury in Reno deliberated for 6 hours before finding him not guilty on a charge of attempted murder, as well as 4 alternate charges of first-degree murder, second-degree murder, voluntary manslaughter, and involuntary manslaughter.
A Colorado charter school is under fire after it refused to let the valedictorian deliver his graduation speech in which he planned out to come out as gay. The Daily Camera reports Evan Young, 18, was not recognized as valedictorian at the Twin Peaks Charter Academy High School graduation ceremony on May 16th. Young says he agreed to make several edits to his speech, per the principal's request. However, he put his foot down when the administrator instructed him to take out the portion that discloses Young's sexual orientation. The student explains to the Daily Camera that in his speech he was going to tell the audience his secrets. These included books he never read for schoolwork or homework he didn't like. Then he would gradually work up to revealing that he identifies as gay.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson outmuscled the competition at domestic movie theaters as the earthquake epic San Andreas hauled in an estimated $53.2 million over the weekend. It was Johnson's biggest debut for a non-sequel as the top-billed actor, according to box office tracker RunTrack. The action star helped the movie overperform on the West Coast, despite fears that audiences in earthquake-prone regions would stay away, said Dan Fellman, president of the domestic distribution for Warner Brothers, which distributed the film made by its New Line unit.
This enough. You need to get out. And I mean now. Because even though this is happening here in California, you will feel it on the East Coast. Everybody down!
Aloha, the critically maligned romantic comedy from director Cameron Crowe, opened in 6th place with $10 million. The movie was dogged by controversy. Leaked emails from former Sony Pictures Entertainment co-chair Amy Pascal last year labeled the Aloha script as, quote, ridiculous. Then, some Native Hawaiian groups opposed the title as misappropriating the concept of the word. An Asian American group criticized the use of the nearly all-white cast in a film shot in Hawaii, a heavily Asian island chain. A slew of critics slammed the movie, many calling it confusing, wondering if parts of it were missing, and saying it was Cameron's worst film ever, despite the all-star cast of Bradley Cooper, Emma Stone, and Rachel McAdams. They combined to give it a Rotten Tomatoes score of just 17%.
The last 2 weeks has seen extremes when it comes to the weather. Temperatures well above normal or well below. Here's Aislinn to tell what we can expect for this week.
We've seen more than an inch of rain over the last 24 hours, and we'll continue to see hit-and-miss showers through most of our Monday, before we're left with just cloudy skies for Monday evening and most of Tuesday. But the other part of the story is the temperatures. After last week, where we were nearly 20 degrees above normal, we're now more than 20 degrees below normal. We won't get out of the 50s today, and we'll each reach only about 60 degrees for tomorrow, before we start to move toward the more normal temps. Tuesday will be dry, but the sun will be hard to find. Wednesday is the pick of the day for the week. Bright sunshine and moderate temperatures. Thursday and Friday will see temperatures creep a little bit, with the chance of some thunder and showers. One last week. If you hadn't figured it out already, this past May was the third warmest on record.
Mexico boys track crowned some champions over the weekend. Here's Patrick with the sports.
Mexico boys track was in action on Friday in the Class A2 championships. The team finished fourth, but only 13 points behind team champ Oneida. In the process, 4 Tigers were crowned champs. Senior Kyler Felton continued his dominance by winning the 100-meter dash. Fellow senior Jacob Zedek won the 16 and 3200-meter races, while Joe Gardner won the 400-meter run. Hunter Hellinger won the high jump. Each athlete moves on to the state qualifying meet next weekend. A 92-year-old cancer survivor rocked her way into the record books Sunday, becoming the oldest woman to finish a marathon. Harriet Thompson of Charlotte, North Carolina, completed Sunday's Rock and Roll Marathon in San Diego in 7 hours, 24 minutes, and 36 seconds. She was mobbed by the well-wishers as she crossed the finish line. This was her 16th Rock and Roll Marathon and, by far, the hardest. The oldest woman to previously complete a marathon was Gladys Burrow, who was 92 years and 19 days old when she completed the 2010 Honolulu Marathon. Thompson is 92 years and 65 days old, according to race organizers. Despite her training woes, she nearly matched her finish line time of last year, which was 7 hours, 7 minutes, and 42 seconds. That set a record for women 90 or older, shattering the old one by more than an hour and a half. The Washington 3A state baseball title game proved to be a wild scene after what should have been a walk-off walk was called out when the batter was mobbed by his teammates before reaching first base. Mercer Island's Anthony Scalzo drew the 4th pitch walk in the bottom of the 8th with the score tied 0-0, and his teammates, in direct violation of baseball rules, piled on halfway up the first base line. The Seattle Times reported the runner on second was actually called out for never running to third. Either way, a 20-minute delay ensued, in which rulebooks were checked and protests logged, and it all proved to be moot anyway after the 13th inning walk-off homer won it for Mercer. That's sports. I'm Patrick.
Nathaniel has a look at our calendar. This week's calendar shows regular classes at the high school are postponed on Tuesday, June 2nd for Common Core testing in math and English. Regular classes are back on Wednesday. The senior dinner dance tickets are on sale now. The price is $45 per person, which includes admission, viewing of selected animals at the zoo, and a buffet-style dinner. Please see Mr. Deckman or Ms. Sarnowski by Monday, June 8th, to purchase tickets. Senior dinner dance guest forms are available in the assistant principal's office. Block M tickets are now available in the athletics office. The annual awards banquet is set for Wednesday, June 3rd. Speaking of awards, the Top 100 banquet is scheduled for Monday, June 8th. Students need to see Miss Bigelow for tickets. That's the calendar. I'm Nathaniel.
And finally, here's Shannon with our history.
On this day in history, in 1925, Baseball Hall of Fame Lou Gehrig's streak of playing in 2,130 consecutive games began when he entered a game as a pinch hitter for the New York Yankees. In 1967, the album Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band by the Beatles was released. In 1980, CNN made its debut. And in 2009, General Motors filed for Chapter 11, becoming the largest U.S. industrial company to enter bankruptcy protection. That's our history. I'm Shannon.
Thanks for being with us today. I'm Jacob Frazier.
And I'm Kennedy Lamb. We'll see you on Wednesday. Have a great day.